Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today we're working on part 2 of the Colonial Home we started last time on my channel. Last time we just kind of did the outside, the structure, the foundation frame, and then we did the backyard and then a little bit of landscaping, which if you watched a few of my videos by now, you know that I don't really enjoy landscaping because it takes forever to do. So today we're going to go into the inside of the house and kind of do the floor plan and furnish and do all that wonderful stuff. Right now we're just putting in the stairs. I figured if this was like an older colonial home, it would probably have pretty big double staircases and maybe even have two. I rarely get to pick like two-sided staircases in my house, and so I was like, I want some pretty grand staircases for this house. And then right now I'm just putting a bunch of random lights throughout the house so that way it kind of lights up and I can see what I'm working with a little bit better. It's really frustrating when you're trying to build walls and stuff and everything is super dark so you can't see anything. But yeah, so the plan that I'm working on right now, that little area, the little 2x2 square, I'm planning to just be like a quick little half bath that people can use on the bottom floor. And then I was thinking that I was going to put some type of like half hallway in that front area connected to the bathroom. And then I end up deciding that I don't like it. So I end up taking that part out and changing it. But that back room to the right, I'm going to put what I would consider like a saloon. So like when you think back to older homes, they always had like the room that people went to like play games after dinner and things like that. So that's kind of the room that I'm envisioning back there with just like a little tiny hallway going towards it. But you can see I changed my mind because I was like, I don't really like this weird hallway in the front. And so I ended up changing it and taking out the bathroom, which I ended up putting the bathroom back anyways though, because I'm like, well, there's nowhere else on this floor to put a bathroom. So I ended up putting it back there. That room to the back left where it has the door to the backyard, that's going to be the kitchen. And then you may be wondering, what is this random square in the middle of your house? And I decided that I wanted the focal point of the bottom story to be a dining room that would just have like kind of access from both sides, and that probably somewhere that this family would sit down all the time and eat together in a more formal dining room, just because if you live in this house, you're probably a little bit richer. And then that little tiny room that's like a 2x1 box towards the front of the left of the house, that is where I'm going to put a closet. Excuse me. So Sims comes with like 2x2s and 2x1 like closets that you can put into your house, but I don't really like it when they just like stick out because they look weird. So I built a wall in so that you moving into see just like putting the frames and then the doorways into all the areas. And then I kind of moved upstairs to go ahead and do the floor plan upstairs. Downstairs I used those dark wood archways and those dark wood doors, but I think I end up changing them to white because the wallpaper I go with towards the end after making like the plan and everything, it doesn't go with those dark frames, so I end up not liking it. But upstairs right now we're just doing the bedrooms. So those first two right there, one is the master suite and then one is probably just like a guest room, and then those two at the back are a boy and girl room just with a shared bathroom. And I end up thinking that these two rooms are like two different sizes for some reason, and so I keep looking at them, and I don't know why in my head I was thinking that they were two different sizes. You see me moving the camera around and I'm like, wait, is this the same size? But then it's sped up a lot more here, but when I was doing it I was going back and forth like, these are not the same size room. Anyways, so yeah, so there's a total of 4 bedrooms and then 2.5 baths in this house. So 1 half bath downstairs, 1 shared bathroom for the boy and girl room upstairs, and then 1 master bedroom bathroom that also comes with a kind of closet walk-in to the bathroom way. And then there's 4 bedrooms, so a boy or girl bedroom, a guest bedroom, and then whoever the parent or the grandparent or somebody who's staying here bedroom. And then the guest bedroom will also share the bathroom with the boy and girl. Right now I'm just moving the lights back to adjust to actually be inside the rooms now, because before I just kind of sporadically placed them so I'd have light while I was trying to do my floor plan. But now I've kind of moved them so they're actually placed inside rooms and hallways. Excuse me. So now I'm going to go ahead and put in wallpaper. This is a part that I struggled with because, one, I was like, I want to keep to the aesthetic that this is like an old colonial home. But then 2, I was like, if people are living in it now, they would have probably changed wallpaper or modernized it a little bit. And so then I was thinking, well, it doesn't look right. And so I ended up changing the doorways because I liked this wallpaper in the hallway because I felt like it kept some of the traditional like hardwood and stuff that you would see in older homes, but it also kind of looks a little bit newer and fresh because it has white wood and white crown molding and stuff on it. So I thought maybe whoever lived here wanted to keep that same idea, but they probably just lightened basically the woods and all that kind of stuff. And so in order to make it go better, they probably also painted the doorways because that dark brown just didn't go very well in that area. And so right now I also did the dining room wallpaper and stuff, which I also just did kind of a light color. I'm pretty sure I don't end up keeping that in the dining room. I'm pretty sure I ended up changing it. And then I kept that same wallpaper in all the common areas. So like the downstairs hallways and the upstairs hallways are all the same. Whenever I wallpaper, I'm kind of sporadic because I'm like, let me do all the common areas, but then I'll go do bedrooms, and then I'll go back downstairs, and then I'll go back upstairs, and then I'll go back downstairs, and then I'll do the bathrooms. So I don't follow a really good pattern. So the girls' bedrooms and the kids' bedrooms, I kind of thought that they would keep the traditional wallpaper that they came with. So the girl was just pink and the boy blue. And then the master bedroom, I just did like a kind of like a pearly white wallpaper, and then a wallpaper in the guest room was just a quick and easy yellow that probably most guests stay at your house would be okay with. And then I kept the same wallpaper in the little entryway closet, and then in the bathroom I just went with like a darker gray tile that you probably would have seen more 100 years ago versus now. So I went with the back room, I kind of went with a blue parlor theme, and then right now I'm just trying to figure out what types of hardwood I want to use, because I went with dark stairs, but then I went with like a lighter wallpaper and stuff. I was trying to figure out if I should use a darker wood or if I should use a lighter wood, and I ended up using the darker wood, and I think it looks good throughout the house. You might be thinking, most bedrooms have carpet, Nicole. Why on earth would you put hardwood in it? But then I was thinking, well, this is an older house once again, so they would probably have mainly hardwood throughout the whole house. And I was thinking that if they're keeping some of the general I just threw my dog's toy, and so she was just running off like crazy. But we have hardwood, and her nails, she like can't get a grip on the hardwood, and so anytime she like tries to run, she has to like charge herself up, like if you imagine like a bull like scraping her like their feet against the ground before they start sprinting off, like that's kind of what she does. But so her paws were super loud on the hardwood. But anyways, I don't know where I was going. But now we're in the kitchen. I'm not a huge fan of this yellow wallpaper, but I also wasn't a fan of any of the other colors of older wallpaper that I would assume would be in this house. And so I felt like this was the less of the bad, if you should say. And then for the cabinets, I like rarely ever use these green cabinets, but I was like, in older homes, there's always these funky colored cabinets and stuff, and just like, I thought whoever lived in this, you can see me going back to try to change the wallpaper again. But I was just thinking that whoever like lived in this house probably kept the original cabinets and stuff. And so they're a little bit older looking, they're a little bit grungy green looking, and they have a little bit of a like a weird tan topping to them instead of like a more modern granite or anything like that. But I still think it looks pretty good. Overall, this would probably be considered a really big kitchen, just because we're able to get counters on 3 different walls with a giant gap still in the middle. So I would say that's a pretty big kitchen. But we plan to put a little like breakfast nook on the other side of the backyard door, just to kind of add a little bit more of a homey vibe, and just in case like whoever was living here on the days that they don't want to eat formally, like they could just eat at the kitchen table. Now Sims, having the smaller table, will most likely go ahead and eat at that smaller table anyways. They're not going to actually eat at the dining table unless I force them to, probably on like Thanksgiving or different holidays like that we have in The Sims. But right now I'm putting in the upper cabinets, and something that I wish that I could like change on The Sims is that when you have the 2 end cabinets, which you'll see I'll start soon towards the sink area, but when you have 2 end cabinets like these, I wish they would snap together also, but they won't. And so I was trying to put like the dish open cabinets that would be above the sink, but you can see that there's like a gap in between each of them. And then I do that, but there's a gap in between the corner and then that one right there, and it won't snap. And even if I change them over, now this one won't snap to that one. So it was really annoying because I was like, oh, I would really like it if they could have some open cabinets near the sink, and then like whoever was doing the dishes would just like put them right up there, and that would be really nice. But it wasn't working out, so I couldn't do that. So I think, I just decided to not put those extra 2 cabinets in the one covering the window there, and I go with a window, like a quick little happy window blind instead, that you could probably still see it out of while you're doing the dishes, but like if you wanted to cover it to give yourself some more privacy in the kitchen, you could. And then we're about to go into putting just like some little knickknacks and stuff on the kitchen. And of course you have to have your fire alarm, because if you don't have a fire alarm in The Sims, which, you know what, quite honestly, it doesn't even matter if you have a fire alarm, because the firefighters don't come in the Sims anymore. So like Sims 2 and 3 had firefighters that when your alarm went off, like they would come to your house and save your life. But now, like, you can purchase like the fire alarm and the sprinkler system. So I think you need both of those for it to work. But if you don't have the sprinkler system and you just have the fire alarm, quite honestly, it doesn't matter, because then nothing is going off. So the fire alarm is alerting you. So yeah, that's great. Like if you're upstairs playing and you hear the fire alarm, you're like, oh, there's a fire in the kitchen, let me go downstairs. But like other than that, it doesn't put out the fire or anything. So you have to put out the fire regardless, unless you have the sprinkler system. And so it's kind of pointless to have without the sprinkler system, if you ask me, because you'll definitely usually know when your people are on fire, because there's always a notification little bubble thing that pops up and says there's a fire on your lot or something along those lines. But it also looks good for aesthetic, because you would need a fire alarm in your kitchen. So then I just put the little vent hood above the stove, and then now I'm putting just like these cute little shelves above the little fridge area, that because it's just like some open space right here that maybe they kind of put some built-in shelves to keep some knickknacks and stuff on. And so now I'm just kind of trying to put a few accessories here and there that would normally go in a kitchen that kind of make it feel a little bit homier. I don't know about y'all, but like when you see different houses being built on The Sims, or when you're building houses and you put things in them, to me it always feels more homey, especially when I'm building bigger homes. It always feels more homey when I have lots of little knickknacks and different miscellaneous decor and stuff around the house. Whenever I just build a house and I like don't put pictures on the walls or anything like that, it doesn't really feel like a real house, and it feels kind of colder when my Sims are playing in it. Although I will say there's a lot of times where, especially if I have creative Sims, I will leave walls blank because I want them to paint the pictures that they put on their house. Or if they're like like a woodworker person, and they have little woodworking things that they can build, sometimes I'll leave shelves blank so that they have like places to put their woodworking and stuff. So that's understandable. But like whenever I'm building just in general, like especially the kitchen and stuff, I like to add these little knickknacks that you would find in a normal kitchen, like a knife block and something to hold wet dishes, and just like the little things on the shelves that would hold your spatulas and cookbooks and all those kind of things that you would see in a normal kitchen. And then right here, we're trying to figure out what type of like makeshift island we can do. This space isn't big enough for me to join like two normal size counters together and then make like kind of like a 2x2 counter. It would make the kitchen seem really, really small, and I didn't want to do that. And so I saw this trick probably like a year or two ago, and I want to say that I was watching Deligracy when she did it. If you guys don't know Deligracy, she's another Sims YouTuber that's pretty popular, and she's really good at interior design, and she's got lots of cool little tricks and things that she does for other houses. But I think I saw her do this first, and she just used like a dining table as kind of like a center island piece that you could use, which is super cool because in real life, like I see that all the time. People like can buy those roll away kitchen island things that they can like move around and chop on and stuff. Or if they don't even have an island, they just put like a table in the middle of their kitchen. So I thought that was really cool, and I thought it kind of added a little bit of a funky aesthetic. But you saw now, like I put down a dining table to do like the little breakfast nook, but then my all over the place mind was like, oh, I should also do the the dining room. But then I realized that I hated the dining room wallpaper because it matched the wallpaper I don't really like in the kitchen. And so I was like, oh, I need to do something different. And so this wallpaper I thought was a really good transition from the wallpaper that we have in the main part of the hallway, just because it's pretty much the same, except it has a different pattern on the wallpaper part, and it doesn't have the white framing. I don't know what you'd really call that, but the white framing kind of in the middle of it that creates that like rectangle like design. And then now I'm just trying to pick a table that I like to go with this wallpaper. So occasionally I'm putting up the wall so that I can see what the table looks like with the wallpaper. We don't end up going with this table. We go with the one that we got with Bad Weather. I absolutely love this table. It's like a very modern looking table, but it's made out of wood and it has glass. I rarely use the white version of this table, but I absolutely love the darker colors of this table. I use it all the time. I absolutely love it. Along with these chairs that we got from Get Famous, I also really, really like. But these chairs go now better with the white table that we kind of decided to go with. And then now I'm just adding some like flowers in the middle of the table to liven up the room, add a little bit of color. And I'm trying to figure out a rug to kind of make the dining room just look a little bit more homey. Just because like right now with all the hardwood, in order to just break up kind of the coldness that hardwood kind of provides. I just like to add a few rugs in the room. But if you watched my crazy hovel video, then I think you heard me rant about this last time. But I don't like how carpets, so like there's the BB Move Objects sheets and all that stuff that will help you size up and size down a carpet. But the thing is, like, when you have a certain size carpet and you just want it to go like up a square, down a square, it doesn't do that. It always like times itself by 2, or like just a little bit less than 2. Or if you like trying to make it go down, it doesn't ever go down by 1 or up by 1 square. And so you like may really, really like a carpet, but you need it to just be a little bit bigger. And then when you upsize it, it's like 3 times the size of what you wanted. And so you're like, well, never mind, I can't do that. But there are a few carpets who always size up to like a really good amount. So I think we ended up just going with this really light one that kind of just adds a little bit of lightness to the room so it's not so dark. And then I kind of went with some older pictures in the room just to kind of bring, like, maybe it was like the heritage of the house or the city that while house was built in, just kind of bringing back that older flavor into the house. And right now we're trying to figure out what we want to put into the corners. Oh, yeah, I knew what I was looking for. We got this with Pets. It is a like an insert shelf that was like inserted into the wall, and it already comes with like different designs on it and stuff. But I thought that it would go really well with our like white crown molding and just kind of the aesthetic of our house, especially because it has a little bit of older knickknacks and stuff on it. It kind of went really perfectly with the room. And then I just added a potted plant to the side. So now I'm looking for, and I can remember in my head perfectly, it's this insert that goes in the wall, and it almost looks like it's kind of from the 70s, but I was looking for it because I wanted, oh my gosh, I just saw it. That is so funny. I just saw it, but I never ended up finding it because I wanted to see if there was a different color that would make it look more modern, but I didn't know if there was one, so I was trying to look to find it. And it's so funny because I couldn't find it while I was doing that, but I literally just saw it just now while I'm watching this video back. So that's super funny. But yeah, so I ended up just going with another wall insert that was more of like an older kind of antique-y looking wall insert, and then just another plant in the other corner. So they're kind of adjacent to each other. Now we hop back into the kitchen and we're finishing our little breakfast nook and kind of trying to figure out what chairs and stuff we wanted to do. I didn't want to do a very big table. I just kind of wanted to go with like a traditional wooden, almost kind of like a farmhouse table in there. Just to have like something quick that if like you have kids in the house before they run off to school, they can come sit down really quick and eat here. So I just did like a really simple little table, put a plant in the corner, and then of course you need a trash can, because if you don't have a trash can, your Sims either wash randomly, well, they'll wash their dishes in the sink, but sometimes you have Sims who just like will always leave their dishes out because they don't have a trash can. And I'm not that I'm like super duper clean in like real life or anything, but like my Sims who just like eat their food and then walk away and leave their bowl on the table, I'm like, you really couldn't have walked that to the sink? And some of my like passive aggressiveness cleanness from real life comes out, and I'm like, now I have to move it, because if you don't know, like you can actually move the bowls and like throw them away or put them in the sink. Maybe my Sims know that, and maybe that's why they don't clean up, because they're like, oh, she'll clean up for me, and so they're like, I don't have to do it. Occasionally I'll make them do it, but actually it sometimes is faster if I just do it anyways. We're moving into the downstairs half bath, and for here I just wanted, because if you look in like older homes and stuff, they have those very like traditional like sink, I don't know what like standalone sinks that are usually very like wooden, and then they have some type of really pretty detail in the backsplash, and then probably usually some type of like gold fixtures and stuff. And so I thought that was really pretty, just to kind of bring some of that. And if we had like left the traditional water sink thing, standalone sink that was in there beforehand. So I really like that. I hope I don't end up keeping that mirror, because I'm looking at it back now and I don't like it. Oh, I might have kept it. Oh well. If you play in this house and you hate that mirror like I'm now hating it, then you should change it, because I also don't like it. For those of you who don't know, I do have on the gallery, I do save and put these videos. So my name, I think it's just Nicole1213. And if you search this house by its name, which I don't think I end up changing. Oh, no, I do. I think I just changed the name to Colonial Home. But yeah, if you search Nicole1213, you'll be able to find my house super easily. I don't know if you'll need to turn on the custom content area, because I did used to build a lot of houses with custom content in them and post them to the gallery. And so I don't think if you don't have that, then you might not be able to see it. I don't have custom content in my game anymore, which is really sad, because I absolutely love to support creators and stuff like that for The Sims who do put a lot of hard work into putting and making custom content for our games. I have a few things left, like MC Command Center, which allows me to control my Sims a little bit better, which is really good for storytelling. And then I do end up having, I have custom eyes because I don't like the eyes that come with Sims. Like, they're fine, but they don't look as realistic as the eyes I have. And then I also have, in skin details, I have eyelashes because I also don't like the Sims eyelashes because they kind of look like painted on like black stripes. And so the eyelashes that I have downloaded actually make your Sims have eyelashes. So I really like those. But those are the few like custom content things I left in my game. I used to have like over 1,000 save files in there. But when I decided that I wanted to start recording my gameplay and doing all those types of things, my computer just couldn't handle the level of custom content I had, plus the usage of the computer, plus the usage of the recording software. It was all too much. So I had to make a choice, and because I really like and enjoy recording videos, I decided that I would just kind of get rid of the custom content. Maybe one day when I get a little bit more of a powerful computer, I can go back and start using custom content, or at least the more detailed custom content again. But until then, because I absolutely love Alpha CC hair and stuff like that, I'm not a huge fan of the Maxis hair just because it kind of looks like clay sometimes. But I am becoming more of a fan of it as they come out with newer hairstyles with all the new packs and stuff like that. Just the generic hair that comes with the base game isn't that great, but the hair they've been releasing with the different expansion packs and everything gets better. So I've been enjoying that. Right now we're just kind of doing the entryway. We put just a little place where you can hang a coat, then a little sitting area. Before I was trying to find a stool that would kind of go with the hallway and stuff that would kind of go with the hallway right next to that indoor closet where you would hang up your coat and stuff, but I ended up just deciding going with that comfy looking chair. So I had a comfy looking chair that you could probably read a book in if you wanted to, or just sit there and put your shoes on, or anything like that. And then right now I'm adding in some type of like indoor console that you could like drop your keys off on, or your mail, or whenever you enter the house. So that's what that's going to be. When you're looking at these curtains that are over the windows, like, they look green, but they're not green. They're like a tan. So for some reason, whatever light, I think I was working in the afternoon. Yeah, so the afternoon lighting I have and the indoor lighting kind of make it look a little greenish, but it is a tan color. So right now I'm just adding little touching details, so a mirror, some flowers, some books, and a little picture frame just to add some fun detail to that entry table. Now we're going into the blue saloon. I hope I'm saying that right, saloon. Or that might be like an old-timey Western bar. Well, comment down below if you know the proper saying for what I'm trying to say. If you know what I'm trying to say. And then I added the fireplace. If you watched the last part, I briefly mentioned how there's a fireplace chimney on the other side of the house, like off to the side. And then I mentioned how I put a chimney in the house, but I put it nowhere near where that chimney would actually be. And so I kind of rectified that situation by saying, whoever like lived in this house originally, there was probably a fireplace there. But then whenever somebody bought this house and decided to change it up and remodel, they decided to put a second staircase in over there and then move the original fireplace into the saloon area just to kind of make it feel a little bit more homey. And so but there's still no chimney, so I don't really know how that smoke system would work. So I'll probably end up fixing that later on. This house is already posted to the gallery though, so if you do end up downloading this house, just pretend like it doesn't matter that there's no chimney above the fireplace, because as far as your gameplay goes and everything, it won't change anything. You're not going to have a fire or smoke come in your house or anything like that, which though that would be super cool if that was a thing. And now that I'm thinking about that, and I don't know why that's just popped into my head, but I wish that I had put some type of laundry room in. But I guess if this was an older home originally, it probably wouldn't have had a laundry room, but now I'm thinking in my head, I wish I had put a laundry room. But laundry is a little bit savage in The Sims 4 because, and if you don't know this, or this is a new thing, but if you have, like, you wash your clothes and you put them in the dryer, and then if you use the dryer too many times without cleaning out the lint trap in Sims, it will catch on fire. And so you have to be really careful, especially when you have your children's Sims doing laundry and stuff, because if they're doing laundry and they move it over to the dryer and it catches on fire, they'll catch on fire and die. So it's super kind of gruesome. And the fires happen a lot more than would ever happen in real life, so you have to be really careful. So normally when I have laundry, I always stack the dryer on top of the washer, because a lot of times the kids try to do laundry anyways, even if you don't ask them to. If they just notice and it's just like of their own free will, they try to do laundry. And then I've had too many children's Sims catch on fire and have to save. So just FYI, if you didn't know that before, be careful if you do have laundry day pack. Just be careful what you're doing with that. Now we're up into the master bedroom. And I wanted to go with one of those really beautiful, older, traditional carved beds that I actually really don't use a whole lot in The Sims, because I do a lot more of modern builds and newer age builds and less, I guess you could say, old-timey homes. And so this just isn't really a bed that I use very often. But I did add more modern side tables in there that whoever's probably living in the house is probably like, oh, I want to add a little bit more of a modern aesthetic into this house. I also struggle with finding the correct curtains to kind of go with, because all the curtains that I wanted that were tan and that would look good with this room were also kind of older, frumpy looking curtains. And so in my head, I guess they probably would have just kept whatever curtains that they had from the original house as part of keeping with the aesthetic of the house. But I also am not a huge fan of these curtains. And I feel like Sims could probably do a little bit of a better job and making curtains, because a lot of them are, I don't want to say useless, but a lot of them don't go with a whole lot. Like, it's really hard to use them. And then in that little entryway area into the bathroom, I just put kind of a standing mirror and then a little makeup table that your Sims could use kind of as like a walk-in, I don't want to say a walk-in closet, but like a walk-in wardrobe type of area where you could kind of get ready in the morning after you like got dressed and stuff. It's kind of the next level where you would get ready before you would go to the bathroom and brush your teeth and everything. And then I got to use this beautiful wardrobe that we have in Sims, and I've never used that before, I don't think. I want to say it came with vampires. I don't remember off the top of my head, but it's like absolutely, or it might be base game, I don't know, but it's absolutely gorgeous. And like, I never use it just because I rarely do super traditional builds, and so I've never really needed to use it. Plus it takes up a ton of space. Like, it just looks like a 2x1, but the fact that it like covers the entire wall, it's like really big, and it's probably a little bit harder to play with gameplay because it blocks a lot of the room if you're coming from the other angle, which is something you kind of have to think about when you're playing and building houses too, because especially if you're doing like a let's play house or a house you're going to play in a lot, it is a lot harder to play in houses that have bigger furniture because they're just sitting there, so you have to kind of look around them and stuff. So then I'm just adding a few pictures on the wall of like maybe their ancestors and things like that, and then just adding a little bit of carpet in there to make it feel a little bit homier because it is all hardwood in there. And then now I'm trying to decide on what I want to use for the bathroom. I went with just like a glass tub that's pretty big that has some older gold fixtures that I figured would probably make sense for an older home. And then just a standalone shower that probably got put in after whoever bought this house, because most likely that's not the original shower that came with the house. Excuse me. And then I was trying to decide if I wanted to do like a curved counter that comes to like a stop right next to the toilet. And I think I ended up going against it and deciding that I just want to do the 3 counters straight across. And then I only do 1 sink in here, even though if you wanted to, you could move the sink over and put 1 on each side. Although I'm not for sure, because I can't tell from this angle, if your Sim would actually be able to get to it with the toilet where it is. So it might work better as just the 1. Yeah, ooh, well, they could fit. I don't know. You'd have to play in it and see. So then I just added a few knickknacks here and there, like the toothbrush holder, a few, like a little, probably a fake plant, and then a towel on the side. And then I'm just adding a little bit of fixtures to the walls, like a towel rack, and then a soap rack for the bathtub, and just some stuff on the carpet. And those little different things that you might add into a bathroom. And then I think I'm looking, I decided not to. I almost went with like the overhang thing that can go over the toilet, and I decided not to do that. But now we're moving into the guest bedroom. And the guest bedroom I also kind of made a little bit more traditional looking. I think with the kids' bedrooms I'm trying to remember, because by now I probably started furnishing this house on Sunday. So last Sunday, and today is this Sunday, so it's been a week since I've seen the inside of this house. But yeah, so I ended up going with a more traditional vibe for this room also. But I think with the kids' rooms, I go with more of a modern look, because whatever kids are probably living in this house right now, they probably needed to buy new furniture for anyways. And so they most likely weren't using the original furniture in the house. But you probably would have kept the original double beds and stuff, just because I'm sure they'd be worth a lot of money. and they're kind of more of antiques. But with the guest bedroom, I went with these like older photos I also rarely get to use that I thought just kind of somebody probably kept up from the original owner, or whoever originally owned this house probably had these photos to remember their past by, and so I left them up on the screen. But then I added like things like lamps and stuff that would be a more traditional, because obviously you wouldn't have had like electrical lamps way back then. But I added little touches and stuff to the desk. I didn't end up giving this room a computer, just because I thought if this is just a guest bedroom, it would be kind of a waste to have a computer in there anyways, and it would just put the price of the house really high for no reason, which is something you have to think about when you do the electronics for your houses and stuff. They can get like super expensive, and then like you'll realize that your house is mainly expensive because like if you add lots of picture frames, and then electronics are what makes Sims houses really expensive. So if you add lots of different types of like radios, computers, and all that, and different like really big TVs and stuff like that, that just like really hikes up your price. And if you use just a little bit less, I don't want to say less quality, but the less nicer looking ones, they pretty much look the same anyways, but your price isn't as big. And then once your Sims move in, you could always save up to get to that point. But yeah. And so then here we're just adding some nice little, more of a modern picture. Fun fact, if you didn't know this about Sims, but the more mirrors you have in a house, the harder it is to play. I think it comes down to the fact that because mirrors have reflections in them, so like if you look at a mirror in The Sims and you see the reflection of the room, something about having a lot of those on the lot makes it really, really hard to play in it, because you can still play in it, it just makes it more laggy. So those houses that people put like tons of mirrors in, you'll notice that it takes longer for the house to load, and it also takes longer for like situations are just more laggy and things like that. So I usually only put mirrors when I absolutely need them, just because for the most part you really only need mirrors in the bathroom and then occasional big mirrors and stuff. But I felt like with a house like this, they would probably have a lot of standing mirrors, just because it is an older house and they that's something that's more traditional. Right now I'm doing the little hallway entry table thing, and I decided that whoever lived here probably had some like ceramic dog cat photos and stuff, and then maybe like some pictures of their travels to like distant places and stuff like that. And so I kind of just added some funky stuff to that little area right there to kind of give it some pizzazz, if that's a word. And then right now I'm trying to find a banister that matches the stairwell right now, because the stairs, they're dark wood, but for some reason for this angle they look darker than they really are. And so I was having to find a wood that matched, because where the light is, it makes it look like they don't match, but they do, because they're the same color swatch. They're the same color swatch. I'm so sorry, it's been a long day. So now I'm just adding another entry table to this little hallway area. Looking back on it, I probably could have put some type of like bookcase and a little sitting nook that somebody could have sat down and read at. So if you like that idea, if you download this house, you can probably do that on your own. But yeah, so I'm just adding a few little knickknacks here and there that make it seem a little bit more homey. And just like, yeah, so like this journal we just got with the freelancer career. Oh, I guess I decided not to end up going with it. Oh well. I haven't actually got to try out the freelancer career yet. My Sims Let's Play with Cassandra Burrell that's kind of like my end goal for her. So right now she's just a teen, and she's like literally trying to survive because we have no money, and I believe we still don't have shelter. Yeah, we don't have any shelter. We like have like nothing, and so right now she's just trying to survive and get away from backstabbing friends like Sophia. And so right now, oh, where was I going with this? Wow, I just lost my train of thought. That was lovely. Anyways, I do have Let's Play going on right now if you guys want to check that out on the channel. The first video has a little bit of an audio problem, so if you skip over that, it's just me making Cassandra anyways, so you won't really miss a whole lot because it's just her outfits and things like that. But so far in the Let's Play, we've earned a little bit of money. We've been stabbed in the back by our friend Sophia, and oh, I remember what I was going to say. Sorry guys. But eventually I want her to go into the freelance writer career. So I haven't played around with that career at all because I don't want to like spoil it for myself. I want it to be very like original, like when I have her going into it. So I didn't want to spoil it all for myself because I'm just like that. And I also haven't been watching anybody else's like gameplay that has anything to do with the freelancer career because I want it to be just all brand new whenever I go into it. But yeah, Cassandra's dream is to be a really good writer and author, just very popular for that kind of her creative side of herself. And her family doesn't really like that because they are more business-minded people and want her to go into a career that is definitely going to make her a lot of money, and she's always going to have a steady job kind of thing. And that's like absolutely not what she wants. And so she ends up running away because her family wants her to go to college and basically says, you have to go to college. And she's like, no, I don't want to do that. I'm not going to do that. And so she ends up running away, and now she's trying to survive. And we met, oh, never mind. I don't want to give anything away if you haven't watched it. But yeah, so basically she ran away. She's trying to escape her controlling parents that want her to go to college, that are very money hungry. And she just doesn't feel that way and is not that way. But right now we're doing the little girl's room or teenager's room. It could kind of be both. I kind of imagined it being a child's room, so probably around like 7 or 8. But it's very pink and happy and friendly, and it does kind of still have a little bit of a traditional bed, but the rest of the furniture is more of a modern looking, like side table and dresser and stuff like that. And then I just gave her a few pictures on the wall, her little backpack that she probably takes to school, a toy box, and then a teddy bear. I use those teddy bears all the time. I feel so bad because I use those teddy bears for the kids who, like, parents are super busy and don't have time to help them get their communication skills up. And so I have them, like, repeatedly talk to the bear because the bear helps their communication skill. And it's kind of actually really sad because when you think about it, and they're, like, at level 5 communication, and then they literally got it because they were talking to their imaginary bear this whole time. And so it's kind of really sad now that I'm thinking about that. But at the same time, when you have no money and you're trying to use their parents to make a lot of money and do these things and build up skills, you don't really have time to teach the child communication skills. And so then they just talk to their stuffed animals. Now we've kind of moved on to the boys' room, and we're just adding a little bit more technology. And he's probably a teenager that kind of still has some traditional kid stuff in his room and all of that. But he's just finishing up that. But that's pretty much the end of the house. I'm about to insert some screenshots of the different rooms and stuff so you guys can kind of see it as a whole. But yeah, so we're pretty much just finished with the boys' room. But if you guys did like this video, go ahead and like it and subscribe to my channel. I'm so happy just with the growth that I've been having recently, and I can't wait for y'all to come back soon.